Hi there. So in this lesson, we'll be talking about matching your camera to your imagery. And as you can see, we've got our model here and we've got our camera in which you can see that I'm browsing around in. It's important to have some notions of basic perspective for this one, and I will just run through them quite quickly. So I'll just quickly show you my concept image so you can see more or less how we were working. And this is the type of image and the type of perspective I was looking for. And I managed to Google around some aerials, and I managed to find this one, which matches quite nicely and I thought would actually blend in quite well. So my idea being that I could just layer this in and slowly blend it in through green space on that side and that side. So I think that would work quite well. I'll just show you in Photoshop some perspective lines that I just quickly drawn up, and as you can see, it's a 2-point, but if you have a look, it actually is a 3-point perspective. And as you can see, we do have these lines which are, let me just change my color. So as you can see, we do have these vertical lines which are starting to convey on a 3-point perspective. So I won't be using any vertical shift on this one. And these will match up further down, probably around here. And as you can see, we have our horizon line, and our horizon line will be the same as our eye height. So technically I haven't done this too well, but these focal points should match the horizon line. Okay, so let's go back into 3D Max. And let's load up our photograph for the background. So that's Alt B, and we'll have a look. And here we are. Let's load it up. And let's just display background. Important to match the bitmap. And here we go. So I'll come down here. I'll probably no, that doesn't seem, that's too large. So we'll have to zoom out. So let's go here to the zoom button and just pan out and slowly keep panning out. I think something around there. I haven't mentioned something quite important, which is the camera settings, and I'll mention that right now. So I've selected my camera and I've gone into camera settings, and I know that the focal length is quite wide. As you can see, as you start to see some distortion and you get this really wide open lens and these really wide focal points. So I've estimated around 23. I didn't have any camera info, so I just experimented around. And I've also taken off, where is it? Vignetting. If I can find it, here we go. I've taken vignetting off, sorry. And what that does is basically just take out that black and that darker edge around the image caused by the wide angles generally, because I'll do that in post. And I've also transformed my my white balance into neutral. The rest is pretty much standard, as I usually tend to control the majority in post, and I do like to get quite quickly into this phase, and I'll just continue just to experiment around. I'll just have in consideration that I do have to match my focal points. So as you can see, they're slowly starting to line up. I would probably even, I do also take in consideration just how I've lined up my object, knowing that it should be nicely lined up. This meaning that the composition should be quite nice. I tend to agree with the rule of thirds, and it's something that pretty much is standard in ArchVIZ, and that's, for you who don't know, it's just dividing your canvas into harmonious proportions, and that's just dividing in 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, and also horizontally. And what that means is that if your main object is located in that type of setting, it will seem harmonious. I hope that made sense, but it's a harmonious look for your images, and it also, photographers apply it, everyone applies it really. So I hope I've eyeballed it enough. I have prepared a camera beforehand, so I'll just go back into C. I'll press C, and okay, yeah, I wasn't too far off. So that's more or less what I think is the correct perspective. It's always important though, and you'll see that once you start rendering and you start trying to match up your photographs, you may have to go back and forward and just do slight tweaks and slight adjusts. So I mean, you can also just F3 and wireframe it. I'll just hide those trees because I think those trees are not really helping. And as you can see, I've got my perspective lines, just following the perspective lines of the drawing. Another cool thing you can do is I'll just grab just a selection and just select all geometry and just Alt X and make it transparent. That will make it all transparent. I'll hide the lights. And yeah, I think I've got it. I mean, it's one of those things, once you start rendering is when you really see. And so there you go. In our next tutorial and our next lesson, we'll be talking about how to prepare all your rendering. So getting all your matte channels, preparing those out, understanding what each one of them is, and also how to set up your passes. So I hope to see you in the next lesson, and thank you very much.